Facebook Live. Just going to plug in the computer because I've got to do it. This week we're going to talk about coercive control. So big warning on this one. If you've had any sort of trauma in your life beforehand, doesn't matter if it's domestic violence or not, any sort of trauma, you might find this topic very difficult. Please stop watching it. Please reach out to your therapist if you have one. And if you need support of a domestic violence service or a refuge, please do so in safety. Think of your own personal safety. If you are, supporting somebody else, then again, you've got to think of your personal safety around this one. So let's get into it. It's going to be a long one. Please forgive me. So what is coercive control? And I'm talking about intimate relationships here, but this tactic can be used in other types of relationships. So this is an abuse in which there's a consistent pattern of controlling, coercive and threatening behaviours. It's often associated with emotional abuse, but with this is also financial abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. It doesn't go on its own. It tends to go hand in hand, and it tends to escalate when one person uses coercion or manipulation to control somebody else. That's what this is about. Their aim when they're doing this, if you're wondering what the hell's going on, their aim is to make the victim dependent on them, to isolate them from others, to make them afraid to leave the relationship or speak out, and to restrict their behavior, the victim's behavior, and their freedom. Okay. So this is a very common type of abuse in abusive relationships. So domestic violence, that's what we're going to be talking. That's what we're talking about here. So intimate relationship. It is a form of domestic violence. Sometimes people think, oh, he only hits me, or she only hits me. Domestic violence is more than a bruise, as they say. So please be aware of that. This is domestic violence. It's often invisible to other people. They don't see the abuser hurting you or threatening you. And a lot of people, even, professionals, don't understand that this is a form of abuse and domestic violence. It is a criminal offence, so take legal advice. But again, if you're still in that situation, you've got to check your local laws. You've got to check, wherever you are. You've got to check, with a solicitor or a lawyer on this one. But in Ireland, as far as I'm aware, it is a criminal offence, and therefore somebody can be taken to court over this and have been. So somebody that is being abused in this way can feel like they're walking on eggshells, constantly walking on eggshells around the perpetrator, fearful, confused. They try to please the abuser. If they try to leave, the abuser can threaten to hurt themselves. That's a common tactic we hear of, or hurt others, including pets, family members, the children, and the victim can feel a great sense of, as I said, great sense of fear and confusion, and you start to feel like you've been deprived of your autonomy, your sense of self, your health, your rights, and your quality of life. So it's very damaging to somebody's sense of self-worth and self-esteem here. So some signs that you might see with coercive control. So I'm not going to go into these in great detail. They're all in the blog. So go check that out, because I'll be here for all day if I start going into these in great detail. So some signs you want to look out for, okay? And there are only some signs. So isolating you from your support system. family, friends, monitoring your calls, social media accounts, stuff like that, moving you away from family and friends, fabricating lies that they told about you, but they haven't, but they're going to tell you that they did, fabricating lies that you will have said, or they insinuate that you've said it to the family members in order to break that trust between you and your family and friends, all the while isolating you. Monitoring your activity throughout the day. That can range from monitoring technology to CCTV, tracking devices. I know somebody who had a tracking device put in their car, and not in an obvious place, by somebody they were dating. So stalking you basically throughout the day, denying you freedom and autonomy. So not allowing you to use transportation of any kind, even public transport, because you won't have any money. Taking your phone away from you. Not allowing you to go to work or college or school or whatever. They'll use gaslighting tactics. Now, I've spoken about gaslighting before, so go have a look at that video if you're interested in it, because it is part of coercive control. Name calling you, putting you down, frequent criticisms, bullying behaviours basically. And then limiting, as I said, limiting your access to money. Even if you are allowed to go out to work, they take your money has to go into their bank account and they have control over it. Okay, so even if it's a joint account, they will control the card that you can access the money. Turning the kids against you. Very common even after you've left them. They can use the kids as a weapon. So think about, I know in the States there are co-parenting apps. I haven't heard about them here in Ireland, but there are very good ones for parents who have separated and one is narcissist. And there is a very good co-parenting app. So for those of you that are technically minded, not like me, go have a look for a co-parenting app if you have left somebody that was like this. Or even if somebody has been very difficult in trying to use the kids, go get a co-parenting app, because everything goes on them. They seem very good. Controlling aspects of your health and your body, denying you access to medical treatment, controlling what you eat, etc., sleep, how you sleep or where you sleep, even down to what toilet in the house you can use. Making jealous accusations. Obvious one that they tend to use is accusing you of having the affair when in fact they're having the affair. Regulating your sexual relationship with them, or forcing you to have sex with other people, refusing to use a condom, etc. And as I said, threatening to injure or kill, family, friends, themselves, pets, children. So some questions that you can use in this situation, if you're unsure whether am I or am I not in this situation. These questions actually come from the Women's Aid Ireland website. I've left a link to it in the blog. I've left a link to several helpful, supportive websites, both here and in the UK, in the blog. So go check them out. They're on social media. But again, please be mindful of your own safety here, okay? I can't stress this enough. You have to keep in mind your own safety when you go to reach out, all right? Some of the websites do teach you how to delete cookies and history and things like that. So learn how to do that if you're going to search for, information around domestic violence on websites or online on the family computer. Use somebody else's computer, somebody else's phone. Things like that. That's some things you can do, and I've talked about that before, putting in place a safety plan and how you can do that. I've done a video on that, so do check that one out. So questions, going back to the questions from the Women's Aid Ireland website. So do you feel like you are being isolated from your family and friends? Does he or she deprive you of basic everyday needs like food, electricity, heating? Do you think he or she is monitoring your online activity? Have they installed spyware on your phone, your laptop, or any other device? It can include CCTV in the house, by the way. Baby monitors and things like that they might be using against you. Does he or she take control over every aspect of your life? Remember, this is progressive, so it won't start out like this. But as I said, I do know of one woman who had a tracking device placed in her car by a boyfriend, by somebody she'd only just started dating. So, controlling every aspect of your life, such as where you can go, who you can see, what you can wear, when you have to be home, when you can sleep, and it gets even more detailed sometimes. Does he or she stop you from accessing support services, such as specialist support or medical treatment, dentists or anything like that? Is he or she repeatedly putting you down, such as telling you that you're worthless? Does he or she enforce rules or activities that humiliate, degrade, or dehumanize you? Does he or she force you to take part in criminal activity? Does he or she control the finances, preventing you from working or having your own money? Does he or she threaten to reveal or publish private information about you, like private photographs or videos online? That is a criminal offence here in Ireland. So, help. Okay, because if you're saying to yourself, yes, I'm ticking all those boxes. I'm reading those questions. I'm going, yep, ticking. I ticked all those boxes. I ticked out every box on the domestic violence list, and I've talked about being a victim of domestic violence before, and it can happen to anybody. Basically, is why I share that with you. So help under the law. You can get help for a protection order, and I'm going to talk about Ireland because I haven't worked in other jurisdictions, so I can't talk about that. When you look for this, when you look to get this protection order, and the judges are getting better at being pretty savvy about, putting these in place and getting to know that these men and women are out there and people, the victims, need help to protect them from them. But you will need to show a pattern of abuse. So what I would say to you is, reach out to a domestic violence unit. But again, you want to do so safely. So I'd say use other people's laptops or tablets or phones to do this. So consult them, get help with putting a safety plan in place, and get professional legal advice. All right? You need information and support when you go to do this. So types of patterns of abuse that you can use, information that you can use. So copies of the emails, phone records, text messages, social media messages, evidence, of abuse on the internet. If you can, and I wouldn't have a clue how to do this, but check out, how digital spying is going on. If you find out that they're doing it, make a record of it. Make a record of who helped you find that. Social media, if they've been spying on your social media or controlling your social media account, try and keep, record that. Records of interactions with services. So if you have reached out to a support service, if the police have been coming to the house, there will be an incident report number. You need to get that. Medical records from your doctor, your therapist and your doctor, and any doctor the children have seen are, can be so supportive. They can be called into court to give evidence. So any witness, they can be a witness. So, if the neighbours have seen something, you can ask for them to give a statement to the police, and then that can be brought in to help you get the get the protection order. It's you want as many people helping you to give evidence against this person. Bank records that can show financial abuse. Any sort of notes on previous threats made to the children or other family members, including yourself. So your diary here is can be used. Even if they make you keep a diary of financial transactions, where you're spending the money. You're counting, you have to account for it. So they make you write it down or keep it online. So getting copies of that, even your diary, which records incidents that have happened, and any statements that you've made to the police. So that type of evidence is what you need to get the protection order. But remember, a lot of the domestic violence units, refuges can offer you court accompaniment, so you do not have to go to court on your own to get this. And you'll have also be assigned a solicitor, so you can go. And the clerks of the court in Ireland are super at helping you fill out the application forms, the initial application forms as well. So as always, if you are living in an abusive relationship, if you feel you can't put together a safety plan, and I've talked about how to do that, and there's a link in the blog if you want to go and look at what you have to do for a safety plan, please reach out to Women's Aid, Men's Aid here in Ireland, or wherever refuges or local domestic violence services there are in your locality. I've placed some of the links to those services in Ireland and the UK in the original blog. So it's, check out the blog, and at the very end you'll actually see a list of all those services here in the UK. So do check them out. But as I said, safety first. Always remember safety first. Even if you are supporting somebody else, safety first is paramount, because these people don't think about going after somebody else. So you have to be careful about that. I'll leave it there. If anybody has any questions, just reach out. Just let me know. Ask the questions. If you want to get a friend to ask me a question on your behalf, that's no problem either. Please feel free to do so. If you don't feel brave enough to post it in comments here or over on YouTube, try and reach out to me via social media, and I will private message me. Okay. So I'll leave it there. I'll see you all next week. Enjoy your week. I hope the weather is better where you are. Pretty wet and windy here in Ireland today. So I'll talk to you all then. Have a good week. Stay safe and mind your mental health.